I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. Stephen R. Covey. Circumstances are like a raging river current. It can sweep you away, but the direction you choose to swim is still yours to decide. The problem isn't where you were born, but where you choose to head from that starting point. The environment doesn't decide everything. It's true that circumstances set the initial limits, but it's our reaction that truly shapes the outcome. Two people facing the same adversity, one sees it as evidence of injustice and gives up. The other sees it as raw material for growth and pushes forward. The difference doesn't lie in the circumstances, but in the chain of small decisions repeated day after day. Each decision is like a brush stroke on the portrait of your life. A single stroke may seem insignificant, but thousands of them together create the final image. When you choose discipline over procrastination, learning over avoidance, action over complaining, you are quietly reshaping who you are. And over time, those choices accumulate into your identity, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. Decisions aren't just the big, life-altering choices. Most of life is built from very small decisions. Waking up early or sleeping in, persisting a little longer or giving up, saying a kind word or staying silent. It's these seemingly trivial choices that are the basic units of change. When you believe you are a product of your decisions, you also accept responsibility, and that responsibility hands you back control. You stop being trapped in the question, "Why is this happening to me?" and shift to, "What will I do next?" You can't rewrite the beginning, but you can always continue the story. And every decision you make today is the script shaping the person you'll become tomorrow. Just one small positive thought in the morning can change your entire day. Dalai Lama. Some mornings, the human mind is like a lake still covered in mist, calm yet fragile, easily disturbed by any thought that touches it. It is precisely in that moment of transition between sleep and wakefulness that a small thought, seemingly harmless, holds the power to shape the entire trajectory of the day. When we plant a positive thought there, no matter how small, it's not just an idea, but a psychological seed that begins to take root in our emotions and quietly directs our behavior. A positive thought in the morning is like adjusting the tint of your glasses. The world doesn't change, but the way you perceive it becomes gentler, more pleasant. Difficulties that once felt rigid suddenly soften, like rocks patiently worn down by flowing water. Conversely, if the day begins with heaviness, the mind becomes like a sealed room where every ray of light is blocked, making even small things feel overwhelming. Morning is the starting point of the mind's current. A single drop of color at the source can tint the entire river that follows. Therefore, a positive thought is not just motivation, but the initial programming for your emotional system throughout the day. It helps you respond more slowly to negativity, open your heart to opportunities, and, most importantly, maintain an inner state of stability. From a deeper psychological perspective, this isn't empty advice, but a cognitive strategy. When you deliberately choose a positive thought in the morning, you're performing an act of self-regulation, a form of mental discipline, and that discipline, repeated every day, will gradually transform the structure of your thinking, making positivity no longer an effort, but a natural instinct. One good thought in the morning may not change the world, but it certainly changes the way you move through the world, and sometimes that alone is enough to make a day feel complete. Don't let other people's opinions about you become your reality. L.S. Brown. People easily internalize what others say about them. A comment repeated long enough can become an inner voice, and from there, shape how we see ourselves. Other people's opinions are like stickers. They aren't your true nature, but if you stick enough of them on yourself, you'll start to believe they're your skin. When someone calls you not good enough, not beautiful enough, or not worthy enough, the danger isn't in the words themselves, but in you accepting them as truth. And once that belief forms, your behavior quietly adjusts. You hesitate more, withdraw, and confine yourself within invisible boundaries. Other people's opinions only reflect their perspective, experiences, and limitations, not an absolute truth about you. They are distorted mirrors, each reflecting a different version, none complete enough to represent your true self. If you try to live according to all those reflections, you'll lose your own center and become a fragmented copy of everyone else's expectations. Holding on to your identity isn't about ignoring all opinions, but about knowing how to filter them. Listen, but don't depend. Receive, but don't dissolve into them. It requires inner awareness, the ability to step back and ask yourself, is this truly accurate about me? Or is it just how others see the world? When you can do that, you're no longer led by the noise outside, but begin to live by an internal compass. The right to define who you are doesn't belong to the crowd, but to how you choose to believe in yourself. Others can draw hundreds of versions of you, but only one version becomes reality, the one you nurture with your beliefs and actions every day. Opportunities don't come to you. You have to create them. Chris Grosser. Opportunities don't exist as an objective entity, but as a product of how we interpret circumstances. Two people facing the same situation. One sees risk and steps back. The other sees potential and moves forward. The difference doesn't lie in the outside world, but in the inner structure of thinking. The person who actively creates opportunities is the one who knows how to reframe reality, turning the vague into specific actions, turning waiting into momentum. A farmer doesn't sit and wait for the crops to grow on their own. He must plow the soil, sow the seeds, water them, and endure both scorching sun and pouring rain. Opportunities work the same way. It's not a random reward, but the result of preparation combined with action at the right moment. Without action, opportunity remains an abstract concept that never enters real life. Creating opportunities is also a declaration of control over your life. When you take proactive action, you send a powerful signal to your own mind. I don't wait for circumstances, I shape them. This belief will reset your emotional system, making you less afraid of failure and more adaptable to change. Gradually, what used to be called opportunity is no longer rare, but becomes the inevitable outcome of a proactive lifestyle. The world doesn't favor anyone, but it always unlocks for those who dare to reach out and touch it. And when you start creating opportunities, you'll discover an interesting paradox. The more proactive you are, the more lucky you become. Love your family, work really hard, and live your passion to the fullest. Gary Vaynerchuk. Family is where the emotional center of every person is formed, like an underground spring nourishing a forest. When you love and connect with your family, you're strengthening your inner sense of security, something not easily shaken by external storms. Those with a solid emotional foundation often don't need to chase constant validation because they already have a place to return to, both physically and spiritually. Working hard on a deeper level isn't just an obligation. but the way humans affirm their existence in the world. Labor is the process of turning invisible ideas into tangible value. When you pour your heart and energy into your work, you don't just create results, you build self-respect, something that can't be borrowed from anyone else. Hard work, therefore, isn't forced labor, but a form of self-respect expressed through action. But if there's only family and work, life can still feel dry and rigid. Passion is the inner fire, the thing that brings color and depth to the journey of life. When you live fully with what you love, you enter a state where time seems to dissolve, where you're no longer dragged by obligations, but led by inspiration. That's when you're not just existing, but truly living. Family keeps you from losing direction, work helps you move forward, and passion makes the journey worthwhile. If any one of the three is missing, life easily falls out of balance, either empty, exhausting, or aimless. Know how to love to nurture, know how to work to build, and know how to burn fully to feel. When these three flows converge, life is no longer a series of passing days, but a journey with depth, warmth, and real meaning. If you're not positive energy, you'll be negative energy. Mark Cuban. The mind is like a current. If you don't actively direct the water toward clarity, it will find its way to murky pools of anxiety, doubt, and stagnation. You choose to see possibility in difficulty. Choose to respond rather than resist. Choose to create rather than complain. Conversely, negative energy doesn't require effort to exist. It arises from letting go of control over the mind. When you don't proactively shape your thoughts, natural tendencies like fear, comparison, and pessimism quietly take over, just like an uncleaned room accumulates dust on its own. A person who carries positive energy is like a steady source of light, not blinding, but enough to soothe the space and make others feel more at ease. In contrast, negative energy operates like a gravitational pull, dragging down the emotions of those around it, even if no one quite knows why. Choosing your energy is choosing how you interact with reality. You can't control every circumstance, but you always have the right to control the state you bring into that circumstance. And that state will determine whether you see problems or opportunities, dead ends or pathways. Positive energy doesn't come naturally. It is created through disciplined thinking, emotional awareness, and choices repeated every day. Once you understand that, you'll stop asking, "Why do I feel this way?" and start asking, "What state am I nurturing?" And that's the starting point of change. True freedom cannot exist without a mind liberated by discipline. Mortimer J. Adler. People often confuse freedom with doing whatever they want, whenever they want. But in reality, without discipline, the mind becomes a wild forest where fleeting desires, procrastination, and impulsive emotions grow thick, causing us to lose our way even within ourselves. Discipline is not restriction, but a liberating structure. It's like the banks of a river that prevent the water from flooding aimlessly and instead make it flow powerfully in a chosen direction. An undisciplined mind reacts on instinct. Do it if it feels good. Quit if it's boring. Avoid if it's hard. And that very freedom without control creates a subtle form of slavery. Slavery to emotions, bad habits, and passing impulses. In contrast, when you cultivate discipline, you're establishing inner mastery. You're no longer pulled by emotional waves, but stand firm like a boat captain in a stormy sea. You choose to act, not because it feels comfortable, but because it's right. Not because it's exciting, but because it serves long-term value. And that ability to choose is the very core of freedom. Like someone who wants financial freedom but doesn't control their spending, or someone who wants health freedom but doesn't maintain exercise habits. They think they're free, but they're actually bound by the consequences of their lack of discipline. Freedom is not the absence of limits, but the ability to set and follow limits that serve greater goals. Discipline also clears the noise in the mind. When you repeat conscious behaviors every day, you gradually eliminate inner chaos, creating a clear space for thought and action. And in that space, you not only work more effectively, but also feel lighter, because you're no longer torn between what you should do and what you want to do. It's not about breaking down every barrier, but about building an inner system strong enough that you're not dependent on anything outside. Discipline doesn't take away freedom, it creates it. And when the mind is trained to be clear and steady enough, you'll realize one thing: freedom isn't about escaping everything, but about the ability to stay and still remain in control of yourself. He who has patience will have everything he wants. Benjamin Franklin. Patience is not passive endurance, but the ability to delay gratification and hold steady on your path, even when results aren't visible yet. It's like planting a seed in the dark soil. For many days, you see nothing, but beneath the surface, a living process is quietly unfolding. Modern people are often obsessed with speed, wanting instant results, success without the intermediary of failure. But that very haste makes them quit at the point where results are closest. Patience, therefore, becomes a rare psychological advantage. It allows you to go farther than others, not through explosive power, but through inner endurance, something not easily noticed, but decisive in the long run. Patience is a form of self-control. When you can sit calmly with incompleteness, you prove you're not controlled by impatience or anxiety. You accept the process as an essential part, rather than seeing it as an obstacle. And this attitude changes how you act. You work more consistently, waver less, and gradually accumulate results that the impatient never reach. Patience isn't someone standing still, but a continuous stream of water flowing over rock. It's not loud or rushed, but over time, it can erode even the most seemingly immovable obstacles. That's the power of persistent repetition, turning the impossible into possible without needing explosive moments. However, it must be understood correctly. Patience doesn't guarantee you'll have everything in the absolute sense, but it almost guarantees you'll go much farther than your impatient self. It opens up more possibilities, more opportunities, and most importantly, helps you become mature enough to hold onto what you achieve. The true value of patience lies not only in the results, but in the inner transformation. When you learn to wait without losing faith, you don't just get closer to your goals. You become stronger, deeper, and freer from the pressure of time. Set high goals and don't stop until you achieve them. Bo Jackson. When you set high goals, you're creating a tension in your awareness, like stretching a string, forcing yourself to reach for a greater version of yourself. Low goals may be easy to reach, but they lack the power to transform. Only distant enough destinations force you to restructure your habits, mindset, and personal limits. But that very height also creates friction, doubt, fatigue, and the urge to quit. This is where most people stop, not because they lack ability, but because they can't tolerate the gap between the present and the goal. Quitting is often a self-protection mechanism. It helps you avoid temporary feelings of failure, but also locks away all chances of long-term success. Perseverance isn't blind stubbornness, but but the ability to push through fleeting emotions to stay true to a chosen direction. The journey is like climbing a high mountain. The first steps are full of excitement, but the higher you go, the thinner the air, and each step feels heavier. There are stretches where you can't see the summit, only fog and exhaustion. It's precisely at those moments that the decision to continue or stop truly defines who you are. Those who achieve their goals aren't the ones who never feel tired, but the ones who don't let fatigue become a reason to stop. Not giving up also creates a fundamental change in your identity. Every time you continue when you want to stop, you send a powerful message to yourself: I am not easily broken. Over time, that message accumulates into belief, and that belief becomes the foundation for all future actions. Then, the goal isn't just something you achieve, but something you become in the process of pursuing it. Not giving up doesn't mean stubbornly sticking to every method. You can change strategies, adjust your path, learn from mistakes, but never abandon the core goal. It's flexibility in action, but steadfastness in will. When you dare to set high goals and have the endurance to pursue them, you not only reach greater achievements, but also discover an important truth. Your real limits are always farther than you once thought. The only way to discover the limits of the possible is to venture a little way past them into the impossible. Arthur C. Clarke. Limits are not fixed walls, but a soft boundary drawn by past experiences and untested fears. People often live within their own safety map, where everything is familiar and predictable. But that very safety becomes a subtle prison, making us confuse never done before with impossible. The land of the impossible is actually the realm of the unknown, where the brain reacts with anxiety due to lack of data to control. When you venture into it, you're not just challenging circumstances, but resetting your belief system. Each small step across the old boundary is like a crack in the wall of perception, allowing the light of new possibilities to begin seeping in. What was once labeled impossible gradually transforms into not tried hard enough yet. Like someone standing before the ocean for the first time, the horizon looks like the end of the world, but when the boat sets sail, they realize the horizon always recedes, opening up vast new spaces ahead. Limits work the same way. They don't disappear immediately, but shift every time you dare to take another step. And that process changes your very nature, from observer to explorer. Venturing a little past them isn't reckless, blind action, but conscious courage. You don't need to jump into the abyss. Just step a short distance beyond the edge of safety, enough to feel fear, but not enough to lose control. It's precisely those small but repeated steps that sustainably expand your limits without losing yourself. Are you living within the scope of your abilities, or within the scope of your beliefs about your abilities? Because most of what we call limits are actually exaggerated memories of past unsuccessful attempts turned into rules. When you dare to step beyond them, you don't just discover the world, you rediscover yourself, a larger, more flexible version, less bound by fear, continuously shifting the boundaries of what's possible. And in that journey, you'll realize a beautiful paradox. The more you dare to step into what seems impossible, the more you expand what is possible, not just out there, but right within yourself.